Guys, a number of stunning things have happened. I just got off the show, and already more news is breaking. Now, there's tape that ABC News has found from a deposition of Jeffrey Epstein, which has the question of whether he's ever been with Donald Trump and under 18-year-old girls. Wow. So I'm going to give you that answer in a second, and we'll show you the tape tomorrow when the show is live at 6 o'clock Eastern. And as we told you late in the show today, live breaking news: the Oversight Committee has basically said no to Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson. They voted 8-2, 3 Republicans flipping, including Nancy Mace, and saying, yes, we'd like to subpoena the Epstein documents from the Justice Department. That is a shocking turn of events. One shocking thing after another. And of course, earlier in the day, Wall Street Journal broke the story of Pam Bondi telling Donald Trump back in May, yes, you're on the Epstein list. And I've got more people on the list that has looked. This is things that were known before. We've actually talked about this on the Young Turks before, many years ago. But now these lists are resurfacing, and there's something terrific about it. First of all, those people on the list are stunning. Now, I want to be clear. These are not people we know for sure committed sex acts with underage girls. They are people that are on Jeffrey Epstein's phone book, but there's a specific category that I want to tell you about that is really fascinating. And Trump is listed and has 14 different numbers listed under Trump in his book. And I think there's a reason for that as well. So there's a lot to get to. I'm going to get to it as quickly as I can. First, I got to tell you about the most important thing, which is this deposition from March 17th, 2010, that ABC News has uncovered. So in it, you see Epstein, and the attorney asks him, first, he says, have you, had a personal relation with Donald Trump? And Epstein asks him to clarify. He clarifies, hey, did you used to basically party with him? And Epstein says yes. Then he asks him, attorney, have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump? I'm sorry, yeah. This is where he says yes. And then the attorney asks, have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18? Get a load of Epstein's answer. Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir. In other words, he pled the 5th on whether he and Donald Trump were with 18-year-old girls or younger together. Okay, Donald Trump has said in the past that if you plead the 5th, that means you're guilty. That's his quote, okay? Or that's a paraphrase of it, but it's nearly identical to that. So, interesting. Can you say for sure, 100%, that means Trump did it? No, you can't say it for 100%, right? But now, I mean, if I'm Donald Trump, think about it, right? If I'm Donald Trump and I didn't do it, how motivated would I be to release all the files to prove that I didn't do it? I mean, because him and Epstein were great friends for 2 decades. Everybody knows that. Nobody disputes that. Trump said he's a terrific guy and he likes girls on the younger side. No one can dispute that. He definitely said that in 2002. Now we know he was on one of the lists. That doesn't mean that he did it, but he's obviously associated with Epstein. Then we've seen now, dozens of pictures and videos of them together and partying together and surrounded by girls. I mean, given all of that context, if you're Donald Trump and you're innocent, wouldn't you want those files out immediately to prove your innocence? Okay, so every day that the files are not out is they think is better for the people that are listed in those files. I don't think so. If you're guilty, then yeah, you want it buried, right? But if you're not guilty, you should want it, shout it from the rooftops and show all the files. At least Alan Dershowitz is savvy enough, whether it's true or untrue, it's impossible to know, where he says, no, I want the files released because I didn't do anything wrong. I kept my shorts on. Okay, but we don't know whether to believe him or not. That's why they should be released. So it's great that the Oversight Committee said, yes, let's subpoena those documents so that we can see them. That doesn't mean you're going to get to see them right away. Congress would get to see them first. And plus, it's not set in stone yet because James Comer has to agree. He has to sign off on it. And last I checked, I mean, news is flying in today. He had not signed off on it yet. Okay, now let me read you the other folks that were on in his phone book. Again, he partied with a lot of people. The fact that they're on the phone book doesn't mean that they did the terrible acts. But by the way, I will also say, for the people who went to the private island, that's pretty bad, man. Like, what did you think was happening on the private island? Why did you go? Did you go to play tennis? I'd be surprised if everyone who went to the island didn't know what was on the island. At a bare minimum, they know girls are on the island. They know females are on the island. Did they know that they were women or girls? I don't know. But that's because the government won't ever tell us. And if you're in any camp, right, left, middle, it doesn't matter, that says, no, the government shouldn't tell us. What a weird camp. Who's in that camp? I mean, Ben Shapiro's in that camp. Mark Levin is in that camp. There's a couple other people in that camp. But they're like, no, not the Epstein files. It's a super strange thing to say, because whether you want to find out and bring the guilty to justice, I mean, that would be a dream, right? Or, by the way, show that the folks that are on that list, some of them are innocent, right? Figure out who's did it, who didn't do it, who's innocent, who's guilty. That should be paramount to all of us. Okay, so now there was a Vice article back in 2016 that listed some of these folks. So in his phone book were Prince Bandar of Saudi Arabia. If you guys don't remember, he was the ambassador to the United States for a long time. I believe he was also the ambassador to the United Nations for Saudi Arabia. And he was one of the most connected men in D.C. So, you know, we often talk about how connected the Israeli government is for good reason. But the Saudi government is also enormously connected for a long time. You know, we talk about how America needlessly protects Israeli interests, and like if it was just Israel doing normal things, fine, but we protect them even when they do terrible things. But also true of the Saudis. Remember, after 9/11, we got all the bin Ladens out of the country, got them right out into Saudi Arabia. Saudis didn't do that. We did that. George W. Bush said, "Oh my God, protect the bin Ladens," and got them out of the country. So weird. So weird. Anyway, Prince Bandar was on his phone book. Tony Blair, former Prime Minister of UK, former Utah Governor, Republican presidential candidate John Huntsman. There's a library named after him and at Penn, or his dad, or some rich person in that family. Senator Ted Kennedy, Henry Kissinger, including major political contributors, David Koch. Oh, the Koch brothers. So David Koch has passed away, but his brother Charles Koch is still around. But Charles is not on the list. Pepe Fanjul, and I actually don't even know that guy. But look, to the point that not everybody in the phone book is guilty. There's also plenty of women on the list, and ones that are unlikely to have participated. So Ivana, Trump's first wife, is in the phone book. Again, not surprising since he knows Trump so well and they're such good friends. But also his Trump's daughter Ivanka and Trump's brother Robert, right? I don't think Ivanka did anything. Okay, she was way too young at the time, and that doesn't make any sense. Okay, now here comes a super interesting part. Okay, according to that Vice article from back in the day, Epstein created a number of other odd categories, including one called Jeffrey. Okay, so when someone does a file and it's named something weird and not logical, usually they're putting something in there that they don't want you to know what the real title of it is, right? So this one's labeled Jeffrey. Could it mean people who were, that Jeffrey had stuff on, new details about? Jeffrey's got him on lock, and whatever Jeffrey means. But when you look at the list, the first guy on the list is Ehud Barak, visited Epstein 30 times, former prime minister to Israel. So is it because Epstein is connected to Israel, or was Ehud Barak just a client? But even if the Israeli prime minister is a client, I mean, that is a hell of a thing, right? So 30 times is super suspicious, man, or as the kids say, sus. Okay, Dershowitz, also under Jeffrey, okay? At the time, Senator John Kerry, obviously ran for president on the Democratic side. For former senator and lobbyist George Mitchell, a heavyweight, big heavyweight when I was growing up and for a long time in Washington. And then powerhouse DC lobbyist Thomas Quinn and David Rockefeller. Wow, this is a hell of a name. Now I'm going to get to Trump on the phone book in a second. First, GR, thanks for being a member. It's questioning whether Ivanka knew or didn't know. I have no idea, right? But I would have her at the bottom of the list of people that I suspect. But I love the members. I love the super chats. Thanks, guys, for doing all that. And make sure, when we're live 6 to 8 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, that's when we give you all the details. This is for, huge stories like this. So let me give you the last part of it. So under Trump's name, there was 14 phone numbers, including emergency numbers, car numbers, numbers to Trump's security guard and housemen. First of all, these rich folks have housemen. I don't even know what a houseman does. Does he guard the house? Is he a butler? I don't know what he is, but I'm sure they know in Palm Beach. So that goes to, even if Trump was not a client, my God, were they close? He's got the number to Trump's security guard, his houseman, whatever the hell that is. Okay, he has 14 different numbers for him. They were as thick as thieves, right? Or some other crime. So, okay, now at this point, it is a mountain of evidence, and it is overwhelming that there was some connection. And if at this point Trump almost doesn't disprove that he was a client, it's in everybody's head. And now I'm beginning to see more and more people just assuming that of course he was a client. Now, look, if you people assuming that on the left and the middle, again, not surprising. People assuming that on the right, very surprising. At least would have been very surprising until recently, right? So in his first term, we all knew that Trump and Epstein were close friends. It's not like this is new information. We all saw pictures and video. I've read that quote about how Epstein likes it on the younger side. That quote from Trump, dozens of times on the show throughout all the years. And yes, if you're on the right, we did call out the Epstein situation under Democrats as well. So I'm going to get to the point there in a second. But first, Spurt Records, thank you for joining. You're all awesome. Undercover News Network, thank you, brother, for being a member. And Wantan 8888, that's lucky number in Chinese culture. Anyway, that dirt on Hillary Gabbard release includes all the information stating it was info Russia was holding during 2016. Didn't Gabbard just prove Russia was preparing to help Trump win? With that, Obama is innocent. So look, Gabbard's an idiot. And I know why she's doing it. She's doing it to kiss up to Trump and get back in his good graces and do a massive distraction, etc. But that was the weakest sauce I have ever seen. And to bring a case like that and say, oh my God, the former president did something wrong. And I don't want to get back into that story. Check out our other video on that story. We just did it a little while ago. But overall, the weakest case I have ever seen. Preposterous, ridiculous. And then to say treason on top, okay, let alone what you're pointing out, brother, about the Hillary part of it, and they're bringing the 2016 emails back. All the squirrels are back. Hillary's emails, Obama, Washington Commanders, Cleveland Guardians, everything, just utter garbage because Trump's in a cold sweat panic, and you can see it now. So last thing is, I was on X Spaces earlier today. It's Mario Nawfal's show. There was 2-3 conservatives on there, and even for them, the Obama case, they were like, yeah, we like it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, go get him, kind of, I guess, right? Even though it's so weak, right? They even had trouble mustering up enthusiasm for it. But the more important part was they added, but it is meant as a distraction, and we're not dumb. We know that it's meant as a distraction, and no, it's not going to distract us. All of this stuff is devastating. And I'm now seeing right wingers all over the place going, I guess Trump was a pedo. Now, is it all of them? No way, right? Are there a bunch of them in the MAGA world still defending him? Of course, right? But the independents, they are like 92% out of the building. Please, on the left, welcome them in. Don't do any don't do any of that. Don't call him names. Go, hey, so happy that you figured out he was a fake populist and that he's been lying throughout, not just about this, but about everything, right? There is real populism on the left. We are actually anti-war. We're actually anti-corruption, etc. Populistplank.com, rebellionpack.com. You got it. But look, guys, with this mountain of evidence, and now with even some of the right beginning to go, I guess he was a pedo or a pedo. I don't know how to say it. Trump, at this point, if he's innocent, he'd be nuts not to release the files. And the fact that he's been trying to bury them ever since Pam Bondi told him in May that he's mentioned in the documents many, many times, right? He's been in a panic to make sure they don't get out. Don't get them out. They don't exist. They're fake. They're this, they're that. I mean, it's a tell. It's the most obvious tell in the world. So where does this end? I don't know, but the United States government does not want to release the truth about this under any circumstance, under any administration. So, but right now it is heading towards a boil with the left, the middle, and the right. And nobody's going to take no for an answer. And there you could throw the entire squirrel population of Earth on top of this, and it's still not going to cover it up. So we got more for you guys tomorrow, of course. At when? 6 o'clock. You know that, Eastern. Corey Baldwin, Ivanka was really close to Maxwell. Yeah, those guys, they were all so tight. Who knows? Who knows? God, wouldn't it be great to get the truth? I mean, to ask for the truth from the United States government seems like such a big, unthinkable ask, but we dare ask it anyway. All right, guys, way more on this, including the tape, tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Love you. See you there.